Have you checked for leaks lately? And I'm not talking about your pipes, I'm talking about the marketing funnel. Let me explain. The marketing funnel is essentially how we track from we're getting new eyeballs on your business all the way to converting into actual clients. And the acronyms that you see up here, TOFU, MOFU, and BOFU, basically mean top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. So let me give you a little bit more information. Top of funnel, how we're going to get new eyeballs on your business, is going to come from a variety of sources. You might be familiar with Google Ads, also social media ads. So these are all ways that new people are going to learn about your business. You might not think about social media engagement. So social media engagement is different than posting. This is actually using the social media platforms as though they were networking opportunities, and you're actually making connections with new people on social media in order to bring to them the attention of your business. We also have SEO. And there's actually 3 different forms of SEO. There's local SEO, which is your Google business profile. That's your maps listing. And we use that almost like a mini website. So it needs its own backlinks, it needs posts, it needs a description, it needs a lot of images. And the more that you do that, the more that the algorithm will actually favor showing your map listing in search. It also needs to connect to your website, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. Another form of SEO is on page. So that's what you do on your website, which is writing content, optimizing the metadata, which is the titles and the descriptions that you have on your page, optimizing the actual content on each of your pages for specific target keywords. And then we have backlinks. So backlinks or off-page SEO is getting content onto websites that are more popular than yours. So let's say a guest blog on a more popular website that is going to link over to your website, essentially using yours as a reference. So in the eyes of the Google algorithm, if that more popular website is referencing you, then that's a pretty good sign that your website is perhaps more important. Now, I said there were 3, but one that I want to throw up there as well is actually social media, because the keywords that you use in social media actually go to part of how Google views your brand as a whole. And so if you're using keywords and people are talking about you, that can actually help enhance the ranking of your website. So that's first important points on your top of funnel. A couple more to add. One would be PR and influencers. So PR, everything from press releases to actual events, influencers, working with people who are popular on social media, not necessarily the Kardashians. These can be micro-influencers in your space who have a following that you want to attract to your business. This is a paid strategy where you can pay them for content, or depending on your network, you might be able to get a few favors. And then the last one to mention, top of funnel, is programmatic ads. Now, if you're not familiar with these, unlike Google Ads, which are targeting keywords that people enter in search, or meta ads, social media ads that are targeting certain profiles, programmatic ads are targeting the device. So when your mobile phone goes anywhere, that is tied to your device ID, and that information goes to these programmatic platforms that track that together with your search data. So we can actually find any device that has been anywhere in the past 2 years within 200 feet, and we can target advertising to that device. They could be complimentary website ads, they could be pre-rolls on Hulu or YouTube, they could be banner ads, pretty much any, even social media, but we use this programmatic approach in order to actually target the behavior of the device. So that's a very, very cost-effective way to advertise, because you'll tend to get stronger results. It has a higher price point for the entry because you need to have enough data in the algorithm in order for the AI within the programmatic platform to learn and tilt your ad spend in the direction of the channels and the audience that are going to make the most sense for your brand. So that's a summary of your top of funnel. Now let me move to your middle of funnel. So middle of funnel is going to be things like your website, because people are going to check you out online from whatever source. So before we start sending traffic up here, we want to make sure that your website is solid. It'll convert, It technically, it runs smoothly. It looks good. It tells your brand story, which is really important. And we're doing some things to make sure that it has enough content on there that's going to be interesting for your target audience when they find you. You may have a lead magnet on your website. So, up until this point, we don't actually know anyone's contact information. We might know their social media handles, we know their device IDs, but we can't actually reach out to them as individuals until we capture their contact information. So we can do that through a lead magnet on your website that is something enticing like a checklist or a quick guide or a video that's gated that people will want to get access to because it has value, and they will exchange their contact information for that. And then the other thing from a middle of funnel perspective is social media content. So this is where your posts come in. So people will, if you even go to a networking event and you're going to hand someone your card, they're probably going to check out your website and check out your social media. So you want to make sure that both are a reflection of the level of professionalism and sophistication that you have for your brand. We also have email as middle of funnel. So with emails, there's a couple different types. There's newsletters, which could be as often as weekly or as infrequently as monthly, probably not less than that. And newsletters are a great way of keeping in touch with that audience that you have, who you actually have their contact information, you have their emails. And it's a great way to let them know what you're doing, let them know the type of work that you're doing, because I've talked to a number of clients who get very frustrated when they say, gee, this client that's been working with me for years, they gave their business for something that I do to someone else because they didn't know that I do it. So sometimes a client will work with you on one of your services and they don't even know, as much as they like you, that you do these other things. So it's really important for that awareness to make sure that you're sending those newsletters. There's also CRM campaigns, which are more of drip email campaigns. And those are automated preset email series that someone can enter into when either they buy something for you, they sign up for something on your website, maybe they give you their contact information because of a lead magnet. These are value-added emails that are going to go out and just keep you top of mind. Most of them are going to be a strict nurture, and then every once in a while you're going to throw in one that's a little bit more sales-oriented, but not too much because you don't want people to opt out of your email sequence. So that essentially is your middle of funnel. Now we get to bottom of funnel, where we actually are going to try to close the client. So the first one is retargeting. So remember I mentioned that you want to have a lead magnet on your website so that people can give you their contact information. They don't always do that. So in case they don't, and if you have enough traffic on your website, and perhaps you're running a top of funnel paid campaign, then you can actually drop a pixel in their browser and follow them around online with your ad, even if you don't have their direct contact information. So I'm sure you've seen those spooky ads that show up on other websites when you visited a different website. That's retargeting. It's a paid strategy, but it's a very cost-effective paid strategy. So it should definitely be part of your toolkit. You also have sales emails. So this is where kind of that CRM that I mentioned gets a little bit more conversion oriented. So we've warmed them up. We don't want to pull the trigger too soon on those because people might opt out if they don't see the value, if they don't relate to what you're doing. But once they do relate to you and they've been in your campaign for a while, you can start to push them a little harder with some of the sales emails to try to get them to convert. And then lastly, of course, we have sales calls, which now we want to make sure that we're not only receiving those inbound calls, and whoever from your company is receiving those calls is trained with a script and with an approach to try to convert that lead to being a client. But also outbound calls can be an effective way to reach people. So that essentially is your marketing funnel. What's very important is until you have your bottom of funnel set and your middle of funnel set, in other words, we have no leaks in our funnel, we're solid on our process, we don't want to yet start putting money into pushing traffic into the funnel because we want to make sure that we have the greatest opportunity to convert. And that's a summary of your marketing funnel.